it should contain an element each of deadlift, squat and press. Now, because we are programming not for powerlifters, we need to be efficient with our time. We can't just have an upper body max effort day and then a lower body dynamic effort day and then a squat based max effort day. It doesn't work because sometime in there we need to be building our stamina and our cardiorespiratory endurance through all these energy systems we've talked about. There's a lot to get through. So we need to be efficient. This means that you will not be as strong as a specialized powerlifter. But that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to attack the weakest point on our spoke. We're trying to create a broad competency and then expand that competency. So I believe that every time you powerlift, because it's not going to be every day because we have other priorities, your Olympic lifting, your other stuff in there, that everyone should include some sort of deadlift, some sort of squat, some sort of press. Now, what I would do, and again, this is a little bit of a practical template of how this should be working. If we look at your squat, deadlift, and press, we can categorize these into your dynamic effort and your max effort. Let me give you some examples of what I would include. Squat, your dynamic effort work. You could do box squats, which would be done very fast, or you could do a jumping, high bar, back squat, and I would use bands for both of those things. A dynamic effort for a deadlift, you could just do speed deadlifts with a band, or something like a jumping trap bar deadlift, which crosses over into a bit of squat as well because there's a little bit more anterior chain than just a pure deadlift, but that allows you to build the speed. For your pressing, I would go speed bench with bands or speed strict press with bands. That's how you're going to build speed there. So these are the variations that I would choose for your squat, deadlift and press max dynamic effort work. For your max effort stuff, squats, because we're looking to build absolute strength rather than just get better at the sport of powerlifting, this is where you would include obviously stuff like your back squat, that could be high bar, low bar combinations, but I would also include here front squats and overhead squats. Again, as long as we're limited by your ability to generate strength, it's going to improve that thing. Whatever the limiting factor of a session is what that session will improve. So a powerlifter is probably almost certainly not going to be doing overhead squats. But we're not powerlifters, we are using the elements of powerlifting to become better at multi-sport. For your deadlift, for your max effort work, a conventional deadlift, I would do a rack pull, particularly if someone is weaker in their lockout position. I would do a deficit deadlift, particularly if someone is weak, getting the bar, breaking the ground, and then a sumo deadlift. For your press, I would go bench press, strict press, and I would also do a push press. Although that starts to get more into the world of Olympic lifting, including that in powerlifting absolute strength work, I think is going to be effective. So every session you do should contain a squat, a deadlift, a press, and if your squat is going to be a dynamic effort squat, you would go max effort for deadlifts and press. If you're going to choose a dynamic deadlift, you would go max effort for squat and press. So every session contains those three elements. They're the variations of each of those movements. In terms of the